Okay, we're just starting a beer kit on the way. We've got two on the go. So we've got one here which we've just added, we've cleansed it first. Then we've added water and what's it called, malt. I'm using malt extract from Wilko. This one's going to do lager. So you see we're just reusing the water. Don't worry about it, it's just the label that's come off. The Czech beer things here, they need to go into warm up. They've already been warmed up, let's warm up some more. And I'm going to put the hygrometers in a minute, because because they need to be able to sit there and be clean, but don't put them in the boiling water, they'll crack. Yeah. So in this one I'm going to follow through the kit. So this has been softened. I need to open it up, pour it in, mix it in. Kettles are on the boil. I have two kettles because it's quicker, and then we just follow it through, make it up to a certain amount of water, and then spray in the yeast once the temperatures come down. And there's a little temperature on the outside, a gauge that you stick on, and it's normally pretty accurate. Yeah, it's good enough. Yeah, so that's the thing. Clean it out. We've done this one, and we're starting the process, and then we pipeline to this one so that we get an IPA. And this I've got rid of the can. Actually, no, I've got another one here. Look, here we are. This one here, triple hopper IPA kit. It's really pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it tastes like shop bought stuff if you get it right. So that's the plan. We'll make that. We'll make the lager. Probably put the lager in the bottles. I got the beer barrels for the other stuff, and then have some friends around before we all end up disappearing. Okay, cheers guys, bye. So to start, you need 3.5 litres of boiling, and so I carefully make a mark there so I can see what I'm doing. And this is I already put 2.5 in, so that's the 1/3 litre going in. And then just as a check, it's slightly more because I've always put 1 kilogram of sugar in it, but that's about right. 3.5 plus 1 kilogram is 4.5. On me, that's looking good. So the next phase is to open this bad boy up, empty it out, put more boiling water in there. Don't forget this gets bloody hot when you put boiling water in it, so use gloves, yeah? Next stage on its way. As a tip, these old school can openers work better than the new ones, because the way it works, I open this left-handed, so I have to stop this and I'll just go around. Okay, so I immerse this in the, well, I've got to be careful with my fingers that they're not dirty, but I immerse that in, so that's good. That can come out. You want to get all that treacle in there. I'm going to put that like that. So the top was clean, yeah, so when I do this I'm not putting contaminant in it, yeah. So cleanliness is the most important thing. Let the yeast do its work on what you want. So I'll use the spatula in there to scrape that off, pour that in, and then get the hot water in. But remember, it's bloody hot when you do that, so you need your kitchen gloves. Okay, so what does it say? We've done that bit, we've done the 3.5 litres, open the can, pour contents, about to do that. Rinse out using warm water. It doesn't say how much to use, but I suppose you're not going to use a lot. I put the sugar in first because I wanted it to melt in solution with the water, although of course the malt doesn't like it too much, but I think it's, for me, it's the better way of doing it. And then we're going to put 23 litres of water in, so, and then wait for it. So okay, I'm just going to pour this in now. This is the satisfying bit. This has been cooled down a bit, so this is the satisfying bit. Don't drop it. There it goes. This will make nice beer. Hopefully got time to drink it. End of the world to put a brew on. Right, there, it's all coming out. I like this bit. It's all gloopy. So just let that gloop through, and then put some boiling water in, give it a shake round, and then a load of cold water in. You can be super, measure it totally, or these guidelines aren't bad. So probably what I'll do is I'll assume they're okay, because it's going to be a few gravities either side. I mean, it's going to be drinkable, put it that way. So that's the next stage. Now you've already cleaned this, so you can use this to mix it round, get as much of the water out as you can, because this is all potentially what the sugar wants to eat. Sorry, the yeast wants to eat with the sugar to turn it into something nice. Well, this is the flavour, I suppose, really, and the malt, the sugars are the flavour as well. I tend to use these malt flavours, so they're quite nice. I used to live next to a brewery and the malt flavour is in my mind. So let's just mix that in. Okay, so at this stage you've got about 7 litres of combined sugar, boiling water and wort. And you want to take it up to, what did I say, 23 litres, is it? 23 litres, it says it at the top there, which is pretty much there. So now it's just a case of pouring cold water in. Cold water should be okay for my tap. I'm not going to go to the trouble of sterilising it. It's already been through a process, and you know, you've got to have some germs to grow. Okay. Of course, I realised my mistake here, because of course what I said is, oh, we're on 7 and we want to get to 23, but we want to add 23, so we want to be to 30. So what I'll do is I'll go to 25 and add another 5 litres in. I thought I was a bit short-changed, sorry about that. Well, that's more like it, so it's gone past the 25 plus 7. So again, we were at 7 when we had all the gunk in. It says add 23. Top up a quarter. No, I've done it wrong. It says top up to 23. Okay, it's going to be weaker. That's fine. Who cares? That's fine. Top up with cold water to 23 litres to bring the volume up to 40 pints. That's okay. It's going to be weaker. That's fine. Just leave it for longer. Now I'm going to transfer it to a place so it can do its work. It hasn't any yeast in it yet, so I'll give it a good mix. And then I'll get on with the other batch. That's it. That's going to be a bit heavy now, isn't it? So I'll pick that up. Move it on to its resting, but it's going to stay in the kitchen. It's nice and warm here. Go on this area here at the back there. Careful it doesn't knock the table over. And there is a heating mat I can use if I so wish. At the moment, I don't need to because it's so warm. But okay, we'll be back. I haven't added the yeast in yet, but you can see we're about 20 degrees. It took me ages to see this, but it's just showing up the 20 there. So that's about the right temperature for pitching it. So I'm going to move it over there, give it half an hour whilst I do the other one, and then I'll add the yeast. I'm going to make the lager. I forgot to mention that we had previously sterilised the jug. So same sort of idea, except read the instructions carefully. So I put this to one side because this is the instructions for that one, and the yeast is ready to go in. Hops go in a few days later. So let's get the instructions for this one, which came in here. Hang on. There we go. And you see in the kit you get some more yeast and some finings, so that's good. The thing with the yeast and the lager, they say you do it at 20 degrees or whatever, but normally lagers are colder than that, hence it comes from the germ of the store. Clean and sterilised, check. Warm plastic canisters, check. Open the plastic and pour content into the fermenter, washing out the litre. Now these have some strange foil inside, it's really hard to get apart. Add further litre of hot water into the fermenter and stir. So a litre of hot water. What? Seriously? Warm the plastic canisters, soften the extract and make pouring easy. Open the plastic, pour in the litre of hot water. Add a further litre into the fermenter and stir. Well, so there's 2 litres so far. Stir in cold water your fermenter to 22.5 litres. It's a lot less hot water than the other one. Okay, we'll do it the way it says, but I'm not convinced by that. Okay, we'll be back. So it says to wash it out with 1 litre. So what I've done is I put half and half in there, and I put the lids on and give them a shake. But be careful, these lids are not watertight. So wrap a towel around it, otherwise you'll get boiling water all over you, which I don't want to see happen. So like that, wrap it. Also the heat has softened it, yeah. So whatever seal you thought you had, you haven't got. So I'll just do that off camera, but I'll give it a good shake. Not too vigorous, just enough to get it going. So that was it, a couple of shakes. It sort of fizzes up, it wants to come out. And that is still really hot. I'm going to be brave, asbestos hands here. That's one, and we got most of it. I'll put a little bit more in. Actually, what I'll do is I'll pour that in there. That's enough. Yeah, that one's cleaner, look. I'll give that a little swirl. Oh shit. That's good. So we've got so far 1 litre of additional boiling water on top of the Wort. I'm going to read the instructions, see what else I've got to do. Okay, so it just says clean, sterilised, check, warm contents, yep. Washing out with a litre, done. We just did that. Add a further litre of hot water into the fermenter and stir well. There's the litre. There's the fermenter. Done. Okay. Give it a good stir, it says. Okay, we're good at that. Oh, don't get stuck on the camera. And I think this one you don't add sugar to, because I think it's got the sugar built in it. In fact, I can already feel the viscosity. It's going to need a lot of stirring because it's got to mix that. So I'm not going to add the next stuff in till we do. Let's just check we don't have sugar. Add a further water, yeah. Stir in cold water. 22.5, 220. So this is a mistake I made last time. 222.5. Okay, not 22.5 extra. For Oktoberfest 19. Yeah, screw it. Let's make it up to 19 litres, even stronger. Pour in the sachet hop character. Okay, so we got to add in this hop character sachet, so that's what it is in fact. Sprinkle the yeast over the top. So where's my box? It's there. But that's some sort of character smell, alright, some chemical smell. This is not good German beer, they wouldn't add that in, they do it very pure. This is a British attempt to make a Czech beer. Okay, that's good, so we don't need any sugar, except when we come to bottle it, so that's fine. Okay, let's carry on. So what's remaining? We're about 20 degrees, so that's okay for pitching the thing, but again, I'll take it over. I've given it a good mix. I put a hygrometer in, this is looking a bit better than the other one. Oh, hang on, get it out of the way. It's looking a bit better than the other one, so I leave the hygrometer in, I can't be bothered to take it out. So I'll put the lid on, move it over to its little friend. Again, it will be a good enough temperature there. Then I'll put the yeast on it, and it will just keep doming up every so often, and then you just release a bit of pressure, yeah. It will keep itself clean. Some people put little bottle traps on it and whatever, that's fine, not necessary. So what's remaining, clean up all the shit that you made because you don't want to get into trouble. The only thing to clean up from this really is just the spatula, but it won't be sterile, it'll just be for clean, and might as well do the pots. But I used to think you could put sugar in them, but you can't, they're not very airtight. Yeah, so that's it. Put it all back together and wait patiently for your beer to brew. Back with more later. Okay, so it's had the chance to settle. Now we just pitch the yeast. Get it all over. It will do the rest. It knows what to do. It's been doing it for thousands of years. And that will just dissolve and sink down, and then you'll start a reaction. This will start getting hotter. It's already at a reasonable temperature. Put the lid back on. Same, I'll just do it for the IPA. So this is the lager, and again this will start to dome up. That's good enough, take that out of there. This is the hops, this really IPA hops, that really smells lovely, the aroma in there. So again, this is another chance. Let's take the lid off. A bit too much water in there, but I think it'd be okay. I might add a bit more sugar just to give the yeast a chance to grow, which is what's after alternative alcohol. So that's what I might do, add a bit of sugar, because I think I put a bit too little in there. And yeah, let's just pitch this in. So again, just give it a sprinkle and let it do the rest. That's it, and that will gradually sink in of its own accord. You'll get a scum building, there's probably a technical term for it, but it will start to froth up. That's okay. And just leave it until that drops down into that black region. Then it's ready to go to the next stage. The next stage is decanting it into, in my case, a barrel. That will go into a barrel, this will go into bottles, and I have to sterilize those and then sanitize them. And then after I put that into the keg, the first few days you leave it in the house and you put a few ounces of sugar in some boiling water, and that gets the initial conditioning, and it's pretty good at that point, almost drinkable. Then you take it outside into your garage or wherever and leave it to sit. Takes about a week. I've got the pressure capsules as well. I think everyone thinks I'm a nitrous guy, but it's just CO2, yeah, and that goes in the top. So you can see it sinking down. Yeah, look, can you see it sinking down? It's going a wee little fish there, that's all sinking down. So the yeast is already starting to say, lovely. It's doing its thing. So let's just leave that. Should get a nice beer hopefully at the end of it. Okay, thank you for watching, and try it yourself. Okay, so just less, it's not even 24 hours, it's probably more like 12 hours since we put it on. You can see the dome there. It doesn't matter if you disturb it at the minute, because it's only later you want it to be. Whoa. So this is the lager. Ooh, nice smell. You can see it's a nice creamy head on top of that. So that's working quite nicely, and we just got to leave that patiently. Nice and pure. This is a sealed one, so occasionally I have to let some pressure out. Just push it down like that, and that will fill up as the gas is produced, and the gas is what's stopping it from going off here. I have to be careful, we get beer flies in here occasionally. They like my beer at least. Let's have a look at this one. Yeah, he's going. So I put more sugar in that one, and I just give it an occasional, again I'm touching the top bit here, so that shouldn't go into the water. I just give it an occasional stir because I want that yeast to get in there. I'll let that stop for a bit, and that's it. I just leave this in there. Oh yeah, after about 4 or so days of this one, this is an IPA, you drop in the hops which are next to it here. There we go. See, it didn't even drop into the water, so I just put that lid on. I put a little bit of tape across there just to stop any flies, because there aren't any at the minute. My wife said it was my beer that made the flies, but I don't know, I think it was the fruit that was going off. Yeah, in here is a little hoppity pack. When you put that in, it smells like real IPA in a pub, and you kind of want to drink it there and then, but you've got to be patient, yeah? So anyway, that's the progress so far, and should be a good beer. We're about 4 days in, it's still on 22, you can just see it there. It's just no big, I'll just give it a quick stir. I'm going to add in the Amarillo hops. You can't smell this, is where you want smell vision. Well, and these things, they just taste wonderful. It just smells like IPA from the pub now. Okay, give me a second. Get them all in. I think that's it. And then they sort of do like what jasmine does, you know, they start to just expand. They go green in the end, you get like a greenness on the beer. At the moment you can see it just floating there. They'll go, oh, the smell is amazing. It's just like being down a pub now. So that's after 4 days, and it needs probably about another week, maybe four days to a week at this temperature. It's going well, and then we'll keg it. Don't forget, at that point we put the sugar in, and it's always a good idea to, well, boil the water, put the sugar in, keg it, and let it rest for at least a week, and it will start to clear. The first few pints will be beautiful, and then eventually you'll need to put some CO2 in there to keep the barrel from running out of air pressure. But that's it. This will be quite nice, I think. So we're filtering the beer off. If you look down, it's fairly clear. I don't know if you can see that, but it's quite a way down. You can see to the yeast at the bottom of the barrel there. It's just a standard siphon. You clean it. In this case, I've used the sterilising or sanitising fluid rather. And there's a bit of gravity pulling it in, and that's it. This will be easy. The difficult bit, I got lager in here, and I've only got bottles for 6 litres, and there's 20 odd litres in there, or just about. That'll be interesting. So anyway, leave that going in there. I put some sugar in it, about 3 ounces, and then you leave that for about a week in the house, and then you move it outside to your garage or somewhere nice and cool. And so that's it doing there, and it just, normally there's a little tap on the end of this thing as well. I didn't need it today because it's coming straight through, but I can see sort of through to the bottom of the barrel there. And as long as I don't suck that sediment up, it will be pretty good. You need a little bit of yeast to get the sugar to work on it, but it should be in the, some of it will be in solution. Anyway, that's where we are with that. The bottles are just over there. They've just been sanitizations in there. I think it's 10 mils to 5 litres of water. Give it a good shake. They'll be emptied out. You can leave it in there. You don't need to rinse this stuff. And then I'll siphon a certain amount in, and then I need to find more bottles. Okay. I've realised how I'm going to solve the issue of what to do with the fact that I don't have enough bottles of lager on the right. I'm going to use the fluid to clean out this barrel. I'm going to fill this up with the lager with the sugar in it, and then I'm going to empty it off into the barrels, into the bottles, until I've used them up, and what's left stays in there. Yeah, and it can have the pressure on top. Then the fluid that comes out there goes in these little buckets temporarily, so that I can clean out the 2 bins, fermentation bins. So they won't be super clean, but they still get the worst off, so they're good for the next usage. And I've got another kit up there to go on later. So that's the plan. Use it like a pipeline, and then you don't waste so much sterilisation and stuff, and it works for quite a while, so it's a good plan, I think. Okay, so for this one, I remember when I made it, I overfilled the water. I got it wrong. It was top up to 23, and I added 23 litres in, so I added more sugar. That way it would eat more yeast and feed it and make it more alcoholic. Yeah, that's the idea. We've got quite a lot out. There's still a lot left in there, but this barrel's full, yeah. which is nice actually, and it tastes really good. So I made a mistake, but I got away with it. Isn't that always the way in life? Okay. One quick tip here, you see there's very little water coming out. It's because the seal is on. If I undo the seal here, it will come out or glug gradually. And what I noticed is there's a little bit of, let me just turn it off a second. What I noticed is there's a little bit of plastic in here. Ooh. So when I undo this, just to let the air, you don't want the air coming in, you want it to be airtight. What it was is that when I cleaned it, that little bit of plastic, you might be able to just see, I shouldn't really touch it, but a little bit of plastic just there, in there, is going over the sort of siphon hole. See if I can get it into view. Yeah, and that's supposed to, so you can inject the gas in. So what happened was this plastic, there's a hole there, which is a one-way valve, and this one has another hole. The clear plastic had moved, and that I think was allowing the air to come straight through, yeah, which you don't want, yeah. I don't think you do, at least. You want the gas to push that away when it's wanting to push. So that's how I think you should do it. So always check your equipment. So again, when I lock this up like that, don't over tighten it because the rubber wants to squish. When I open this, it's whatever air I just let in there that should come out. Yeah, and then it should come to a stop fairly soon. I won't do that because the missus will go off alarm. You see it's starting to come to a stop because the air that I let in is now equilibrated and it can't get out. And that's why you need pressure from the gas in the beer or from the siphon, these tubes on top with the CO2 in them. Don't put nitrous oxide on them, maybe you should make them a nice beer. Anyway, that's what's going on. So I hadn't checked that, and there's different designs, but that's what seems to be happening anyway. Okay, cheers. So we just sterilised this one with the same fluid we used to sterilise that one, so they're either both going to die or both be good, yeah? This is the lager. The plan is to decant it all into here. I've just added 3 ounces of sugar. So the plan is to decant it all into here and then put it up on the desk and fill up the bottles, yeah? And there'll be less in here and it'll be more gassy. But I think lager works better in bottles. Now, I've only just used this to do the bitter. So there'll be a little bit of both in there. So again, what you do is you stick that over the side like so. And then you get a little bit of suction. And then you can let it go. There we go. And you should be able to leave it, it's fine, yeah? So we're going to decant as much of that in there until we start to get near the yeast at the bottom. Let's take the hygrometer out. It was about there. I'll take that over there in a minute. We'll just let it come down and hopefully it won't be too much. There's only 19 litres in here. And then we'll take 6 litres out of the tap into the bottles, and that would already have had the sugar mixed in, yeah? So then it's good. So that's the plan, and then I can enjoy the bottles at a later date. So we got it in, it goes up to there, which is normally a good amount. We're just going to fill these bottles like so under there, and the sugar's already dissolved in there, so there'll be the correct concentration, and we can leave those, and the bottles will ferment differently to the barrel, which will need a lot of CO2 injected. These will be natural, so they'll be good for the summer. That's the plan.